I have quite a few things wrong with me. Mentally, physically. The physical toll is really a result of the mental toll. Not taking care of myself, abusing myself, basically. Not loving myself. And I've analyzed that to just complete exhaustion about why that is. And, the responsibility for that sort of thing really does fall back upon your parents, how they condition you and prepare you for the world. And sadly, it takes more than one parent to raise a child correctly, and mother has a role, and my mother did the best she could, and I had two father figures, and they were both delinquent, to say the least, negligent, compassionless, just, and they're full of their own generational trauma, so way to go, guys, for just passing that right on down to me. Not like, getting therapy to fix your own problems, so that way you can do a better job at parenting, That's what I've done. God damn, unfortunately, I'm so fucked up now, I'm never going to have kids. Anyways, I'm in excruciating pain. I have something seriously wrong with my stomach or my digestive system in some way. And, it's pretty consistent. It's every single day. It's every single morning. It's not every moment of every day. As I get up and wake up and start walking around, it does kind of go away. But then it comes right back as soon as I lay down. Laying down. Gosh, imagine having such a severe mental illness that you can't sleep right and you can't eat right. That's a recipe for an extremely low quality of life. So the stomach problems prevent me from eating correctly, and mental health problems prevent me from sleeping correctly. So, no wonder I'm so fucked up. Anyways, my ex-wife called me on my birthday, and I asked her, I said, hey, do you remember me having stomach problems? Because for some reason, I just, I know I've had them, but it's completely blocked out, or completely, I know about it to some degree, but, and she's like, yeah, all the time. It's oh my God, what the fuck? So, this is a really good example of this severe dissociation. Mm. Instead of, going to a doctor and getting help for, a physical ailment, which is what smart people do. Or not even smart people, just people that love themselves and want, to live and be healthy. Or don't want to be in pain. They have some sort of self-preservation drive. Which, for me, that drive has just been completely replaced over the years with, PTSD, man. Holy shit. I'm not suicidal anymore, but for fucking 20 years, I had intensive suicidal ideations all the time, every day, every night. My brain just desperately wanted to escape the pain. So rather than going to a doctor to fix the stomach problem, it's just how can I just die? God damn. To be fair, these are the sorts of troubles that philosophers have. I'm more concerned with the meaning of life. Who is God? What are we doing here? What is love? Than just basic fucking normalness. But, I wasn't taught that. I was damaged, so damaged early on. And I just wasn't taught to love myself. And, my family, they're just such shitheads. None of them spend time with me. And that's the difference between loving families, people that love each other. This seriously could be my last birthday. And, it's how many more years am I going to hold out? you know, being in such, you would too. If you woke up in a world where you didn't feel loved, for some people anyways, that would quite possibly be the most terrifying thing you could possibly imagine. And that might be so scary that, like, you get so freaked out that either, I don't know, for me, it turned into just find distractions, find band-aids, alcohol and drugs obviously is one solution. Binging YouTube or, whatever, TV, or just to get away from the pain. And for me, I dive into, the greatest complex questions of all of humanity. Like, who is God? It's one of my favorite things to think about. Which, just for the record, I am an agnostic Christian, which is the only suitable answer, because I don't have a problem with faithful believers. I don't even have a problem with atheists either, but I think they're both hubris and arrogant to say that they know one way or the other. Because I seriously doubt many of them have spent nearly as much time and mental energy, on these sorts of philosophical questions as I have. And I've come up just with no answers, which is why agnostic is the only intellectually honest stance on whether God even exists or not. However, philosophically, I've been down the road of, well, what if there is no God? Well, then nothing fucking matters. We just live in a vicious Darwinian universe where it's just, fight to survive. Everybody dies. It's just a matter of how and when, and the quality of the time you have. And that's why I keep coming back to this question of love. Like, what's the point of living if there's no love? But I do have things I love. I love this little monkey right here. Hi, Marty. And this fat little monkey right here. Oh my God. Jeffy and Marty. My two little precious babies. I can honestly say I love them. I've started referring to my dogs as my advanced medical equipment. They are emotional support animals. They're not quite service animals because I'm not blind or something that requires a service animal. But they keep me alive because, they're like the only thing I really, really, really care about. Like, if I perished right now, well, they would perish too, or, or go somewhere for a little while and then perish, just like everybody else, but they keep me alive. Anyways, despite all the, severe trauma, the mental disease, God, the unbearable mental disease, my brain just doesn't work most of the time. Which is why I'm disabled, which I guess is fair enough. Some days, I'd like to say I can't get out of bed, but I also can't stay in bed. Like, I'm too antsy, but I can't go do anything. Like, it requires a lot of concentration because I only have very, very limited, small, brief windows of real conscientiousness. And of course, it's medication-induced. Gosh, I've taken so much goddamn medication. Drugs, really. Prescribed or not, they're drugs. And I took this atypical antipsychotic, second generation. Atypical antipsychotic. It's called Seroquel quetiapine. I've taken for, more than 15 years. Because I got completely addicted to this sweet relief of being able to go to sleep. And I got eventually, I was so scared to go to sleep that I took this medicine 15 goddamn years. And I just stopped taking it recently because, I don't know, I explored a lot of different options of like what else. And I realized, all right, you know what? Maybe I don't need it to sleep. Imagine being in a medication haze for 15 years, the best 15 years of your life, you know, from age 25 to 40, prime of your life. I wouldn't stop taking it. My wife wanted me to stop taking it, but I needed it for sleep. Anyways, I stopped taking it recently, and quite a miracle has happened. I wake up now at dawn instead of like 9 or 10 in the morning, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes, like at sunrise when the birds are all going crazy outside. I love the birds. I just got some new bird feeders. Oh, I've got a wonderful bunch of projects I'm working on. In the far corner of my property, my tiny little lot in my little village here, there's a lot of like really big old trees, and there's this one they cut down maybe like 10 years ago, but it's still like probably 30 feet high. And I'm going to turn that into some sort of bird sanctuary. I call it the BSS at GNY. No, BSS of GNY at TSG. So that's the Bird Sanctuary Stump of Granville, New York, at the Swingers Grotto. So on the far side of my garage, there was a bunch of like old wood and stuff, and I cleared it out, and I want to build like a little, like, I don't know, something nature. A grotto, if you will, which technically a grotto is like a hidden away, like cavern behind a waterfall. I did get a small bird bath, which has a little fountain. I guess that counts as a waterfall. But I call it the Swingers Grotto, which I just think is such a funny, it's just a funny name. And I'm going to put a small swing in it, or 2 swings, so there needs to be 2 swings for swingers. Because, I'm not a weirdo. I'm not a swinger. Gosh, I'm not social enough to be a swinger. Of course, I'm also, like, grossed out by, like, other people now. Gosh. I'm probably never going to have sex again the rest of my life. I don't trust anybody. It's gross anyways. There's no point to it anyways. What, for personal gratification? Yeah, it'd be nice. Who knows? Anything's possible, but stopping that antipsychotic has been life-changing. Because now I wake up in the morning and my stomach hurts so goddamn much. Oh my God, every day. And this is just something that I've been like dissociating from a long time. Like, I have a health problem and I need to go to a doctor. And I have, I think, what psychologists would refer to as learned helplessness. Which is pretty rough, man. Like, it's not that I'm stupid, because I'm actually really highly, like, intellectually intelligent. I'm not, I guess, very emotionally or socially intelligent. There's quite a few different types of intelligence. Anyways, I learned helplessness. I've just learned to just, instead of like fixing or helping myself, I've learned to just, stay in the pain, stay in the broken, not get better, not help myself. Goddamn, that sucks. So this could be quite a breakthrough, because the only way to really beat learned helplessness would be to be aware of it. And unlike PTSD, or all these other mental disorders that I advocate for, I advocate for something I'm calling radical empathy, which is just, even if you don't understand someone else's pain, first off, if you love them, then you're going to care about them. You're going to care that they're in pain. And even if you don't understand it, or even if you disagree with it, radical empathy is what's needed to save lives. And telling somebody, just get over it, toughen up, is most of the time completely the wrong approach with things like PTSD, because it's not really your fault. But learned helplessness is one specific mental problem that could be cured with therapy, such as, cognitive behavioral therapy. And that would require saying, hey, you know what? Knock it off. Like, you're an adult. Go to the fucking doctor. Do what you got to do. I pay my bills. I stay out of legal trouble. I don't take care of myself. And so that's the one mental illness you can say, knock it off. You know what to do, now do it. So I think I'm going to go to urgent care in the next couple of days. Or the VA, whatever the VA, wherever they tell me to go. I'm going to see a doctor about, like my stomach has been, I've lost weight and my stomach is still bloated. And, I've got just horrible bowel movements. I don't eat right. I've been eating better, though. How could I have been in such physical agony for so long? And, not really consciously realize it. That's what dissociation is. When you're in pain, and you just fucking suck it up until it either goes away or you die. And, I've been, waiting for a savior to arrive or somebody to come help me. I thought my family would at least, spend time with me, get to know me. Or they're all selfish fucking pricks, to be honest with you. Even my mom, she says she loves me, but doesn't really care enough to get to know me or what's wrong with me. For example, I did make the 3-hour documentary about narcissistic abuse within a marriage, which I think the film came out pretty damn good. I think it's good, it's entertaining, it's educational. There are brief scenes of pretty scary intensity, which some people would find nightmarishly frightening, which of course I did too at first, but then I had to live in the abusive marriage for a while, and God, you just learn to survive. And anyways, my mom won't even watch the movie. I called my sister the day before my birthday. I had some really good news I wanted to tell her about. And the fucking bitch just doesn't even call me back. So I texted her husband. And this cowardly prick just a couple hours later at after 9, because they don't like being bothered after 9. So I only call them. They don't be bothered at work or after 9. So I call them between 5 and 7 only. But that's family time. So they're always fucking busy. So they're just lying pricks because they don't actually love me. Because if they did, they'd make time or whatever. But this fucking asshole just texted me back a couple hours later saying, oh, I can't talk right now. Go ahead and text me. What a fucking coward. I texted him. I said, hey brother, I got some really, really good news. I just super quick, call me as soon as possible. I just want to tell you about it real quick. I'm done talking about them because I've talked about them literally to death. Oh my God. So either, and this is true for everybody, I suppose, either you just had your very last birthday and you will die this year or within a year, or you won't and you'll live, 10 more years or 20 or... if I can hang on long enough for the technology to get better, the medical care, human lifespans are about to greatly expand. Not only the physical mortal lifespan, but I think within 50 years we'll be able to upload our consciousness in some way to the computers. And live digitally without pain, without love, without feeling. And I guess that is the trade-off. So, okay, fine. Being alive, yeah, there's pain, but there's also, well, there's supposed to be love that counteracts the pain, but that has not been my experience. But despite all that, I am doing quite well. Radical change up in the medicine, which is like when I wake up now, I actually get up and take a shower first thing in the morning. I think that should be like the standard metric of like, are you depressed? Do you feel good about your life? Do you get up and take a shower in the morning? Or whatever, you know, you get up, eat breakfast, or, you know, you do stuff. You know, I used to just fucking like wake up at like 10 or 11, like, I mean, or whatever. But now I actually get up and take a shower every day. Because I'm off the antipsychotic fucking goddamn medicine. I mean, it did help with trauma, I suppose. When life was completely unbearable, at least it did help me sleep. Hey, Mr. Monkey Puppy. I've been improving my diet. I stopped drinking beer, stopped drinking soda, stopped eating candy. I eat vegetables every day. Like, I snack on carrots and celery now. Wild. Of course, you know, it is July 2026, and there is a major parasite or bacteria, I think, that's causing explosive diarrhea. And of course, where is it found? On freaking vegetables and lettuce. As soon as I start liking lettuce, now I'm afraid to eat lettuce. I already have digestive problems. Like, explosive diarrhea might kill me. God, imagine dying from diarrhea alone. God, that would suck. So anyways, I'm slowly conquering one problem after another. The medication. I'm fixing the sleep cycle. Fixing the diet and eating. Feeling better about myself. So, you know, just change up in the medicine. That alone is huge. And, you know, fixing the learned helplessness. I want to go to the doctor. I'm just going to fucking go. It's miserable. Nobody likes going to the doctor, but I also don't like feeling like shit all the time. So, I gotta do it for these guys. For these two little guys, Jeffy and Marty. Gosh, I love these little guys. They need me. Nobody else needs me. This little monkey needs me. Snort, snort, he's snorting. Alright, couple last things I wanted to talk about. So, you know, as far as family and fucking people that should love me and they don't, that sucks. I'm getting over it. Took a long time to process it and get over it. Like, that's just, you know, the road you have to go down. You know, some people, for example, if you're in, like, drug addiction recovery, they get to a place in recovery where eventually they're grateful for their struggles and problems, challenges, and you know, problems in life. So imagine having a drug problem so bad it like almost kills you and like ruins your family, and then years later you actually get better and you get to a place where you're grateful for just who you are, and that's who you are, and it leads to a series of steps that leads to new interactions. And, you know, like, as miserable and, like, lonely as I am, I'm actually extremely social and super fun. So I won't have a problem, like, socializing or meeting people. I just need to, you know, not feel like absolute hell every day when I wake up. Drinking is a problem. I'm a complete fucking alcoholic. Sucks. I don't ever, like, need to drink. I mean, I always want to drink. But then when I do start drinking, like, my brain just says, oh, there's no else. Just keep have another. And then next thing I know, fucking half the bottle's gone, and I wake up feeling like, please kill me now. Like, that's probably got something to do with the stomach problem. So, diet, exercise, stop drinking. Actually, I have been exercising. I've been walking with the dogs every day, at least a couple miles. I used to do cross-country running, and of course I was in the Marine Corps, where you have to do, run the 3-mile once a year at least. And I ran all the time. I ran the Marine Corps marathon once, 26 miles. I ran it while I was in Afghanistan, which was pretty cool. It's the Marine Corps marathon. They do it once a year. And of course, they do it here stateside. But I was in Afghanistan, so they did a parallel one there, and I am physically strong enough to walk 26 miles. I walk probably that far almost every day anyways, just unfortunately in circles. God, my life was an absolute miserable shit show, chaos, hell. For the last 15 years. Good God. It was just miserable. After college, so miserable I joined the Marine Corps, which was the best thing I ever did. But then, I was disabled and I got into an abusive marriage, which healthy, happy people don't attract other healthy, happy people. So, of course, I attracted another fucking crazy, broken person. My ex, whom I'm actually quite good friends with now. I mean, not like great friends, but, if I ever need to talk to her, I can call her and she'll answer the phone. Talk to me about anything. And of course I love my step kiddos, which, God, talk about, like, if there's a purpose to life, it would obviously, like, evolutionarily, Darwinian speaking, the purpose of life is to have children and procreate, so your genes get passed on, which I recognize how remarkable it is that I'm here today in 2026. All my ancestors managed to survive and procreate. Gosh, the biggest failure in my life not having my own kids. But I have my step kiddos, and that's the real reason to live. The dogs, yeah, they're fun, but my kids need me. They're going to come visit me later this summer. I'm pretty psyched about. God, just to have some company. I would not be nearly as messed up if I wasn't fucking left alone, left to my own devices. Even though when I was in the marriage, that was abusive, at least it gave me, structure and purpose, and, and I was healthier. And I think it's quite common for people to kind of downward spiral. Midlife crisis after a divorce. That's pretty normal. Most people get over it. They don't just perish in wallowing suffering. Gosh, I'm better than that. Wow, so I've got quite a list of things I've done to improve myself. And of course, the biggest improvement is I'm in a home again. I bought a house in January. It's July now. I've been here for 6 months. God, I was in just a shitty ass apartment before. I mean, it was all right. But it was on the second floor, and the dogs and Marty pees in the house. But now I have a house. I recognized that I was able to afford it. And I went house shopping. I found a house I loved. My second house, the first house, I bought with my wife and kids, and I lost that. So the house I bought is wonderful. It's the same exact architecture and design as my other house. Classic house design, built in the early 1900s. And it's been well maintained, so it's pretty good shape. But it's everything I need. It's not huge. I think it's 1,200 square feet. 3 bedrooms. One's really small. But my first floor, I've got a kitchen, a living room, my headquarters, office, work zone, piano studio. But I also have 2 enclosed porches on either side of the house, which is 2 extra rooms. I have like 5 rooms on my first floor. And I've got a lovely little yard. And I've been doing yard work and gardening, and I'm doing the bird project. And the house did come with a real sweet deal. An enormous 2-car garage. Which, I mean, it's been a dream come true to have a workspace. Of course, I lost all my tools. I had quite a tool collection. Lost all that shit in the fucking chaos of divorce. So now, like, whenever I want to work on something, I end up walking in circles, like, looking for the right tool that I don't have, and I don't have a lot of money to buy all the tools again, but, you know, I'm getting by. So I guess my point is, and this is the one, like, conclusion that most people that struggle with, like, severe drug addiction, like, when they're in recovery, they get to this point where life isn't about them anymore. It's about, wait a minute, I've suffered so much, and I survived, and now I'm wise and smarter. I have wisdom, like, through trial by fire. I've been to hell. Hell! I've lived in goddamn hell for years and years and years. But here's what that I hear from a lot of addicts. They get into recovery and they realize that they can use their lives to help others, either recover from addiction or whatever. I'm a trained mental health counselor, and I have radical empathy and extremely informed, you know, and I'm extremely good at it. Counseling people, like, I'm very intuitive. I'm pretty good relationally, and even though I can't remember that I have stomach problems every day, my brain otherwise functions pretty normally. Like, I can remember social stuff. I just can't remember my own pain. God damn. It's weird. Anyways, should God, which even though I'm agnostic, I'm 99% sure there is no God. However, I love this. I'm going to lean into that 1% where I hope there is, because philosophically I've concluded that no God means nihilism and just meaninglessness. So anyway, should God have mercy on me and allow me to continue living and get healthier, fix my problems, fix them myself, no one else is going to fix them. I have an extremely promising career ahead of me in healthcare gosh, there's so many things I can do. Just for example, real quick, the DSM-V, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Illness, 5th edition, came out like 2010 maybe? It's been out for like what seems like for ages, and boy, have I read that thing through and through. I am just familiar with all of the diagnoses, all the differential diagnoses, which that's when you have more than one, or it could be complicated by others. Oh, I love it. I've done a whole bunch of research on that. I actually, on my Sunset Mental Health channel, along with the Surviving Narcissism documentary, I've done quite a bit on diagnosing other types of mental illness. Anyways, the DSM-6 is supposed to come out in the next couple of years. Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the scientists that are smarter than me, or at least healthier. I can't wait to see what new diagnoses they've come up with. How they refine, the criteria and whatnot. And there's going to be a whole bunch of new clusters. Like, there's definitely going to be a whole big section of internet disorders and internet-related problems, self-image problems, all kinds of things. I'm still working with definitions from like the 70s and 80s. Like, boy, we're 2026 now, people. Life has changed. So once that comes out, not only am I super interested in it, but it's going to make me extremely marketable to wherever I decide to go work, to have doctors that are fully familiar with the most relevant literature in mental health. Plus, I aspire to still be a doctor of psychiatric medicine, to use my own pain and suffering and the hellfire that tormented me for so long, that almost killed me, still might. But, God willing, if there's any purpose to anything, that would be it, to, get better and then go fucking serve other people. There's service to self, which is what I need to do right now, and then that's going to enable me to do service to others. I have always aspired to do great things. Like, I've never wanted to just be just ordinary. And that's one thing that really pisses me off about my two different fathers, is that, like, neither of them have any, like, grand ambition. They're just ordinary dudes. Man. I wanted to be a politician when I was younger. Not for power or, like, not for the benefits, but just because I thought it was the means to help the most number of people. And, politics is, of course, full of, some of the worst psychopaths and sociopaths and narcissists that this world has ever drudged out of the swamp. And so it's a nasty business. But we need warriors with radical empathy and extremely high conscientious intelligence to go combat those fuckers. Hell, that could still happen too, of course. I'd have to get healthier. I have never been content with anything short of changing the world for the better. In that sense, I would consider myself a utilitarianist. Simply the greatest good for the greatest number has kind of been my life goal. God, I've miserably failed at just helping myself. Alright. Anyways, I'm about to wrap it up. I'm going to close with a good note. I'm going to go over the piano songs I've been working on. God, I'm getting so fucking good at piano. My two masterpieces that I've written and composed myself. My favorite one is called Greensleeves, A Bitter Descent. It's based on the 16th century English folk song, Greensleeves. I call it Greensleeves, A Bitter Descent. It's a love song with lyrics that bridge the gap between 16th century courtly prose with sharp modern lyrics that are based on a true story. It tells a narrative that evolves from simple, unrequited longing into themes of existential despair, moving from devotion to a hauntingly bitter end. Plunging the traditional melody into the raw, complex intensity of the present, I think my song creates a soundscape that is both ancient and arrestingly modern. My version tries to honor the original song's 400-year legacy while diving it firmly into the visceral reality of the present day. What does Greensleeves mean anyways, you might ask yourself? Well, legend has it the original song was likely about a young woman who might have maybe gotten grass stains on the sleeves of her white dress. Perhaps. What could cause that, you might ask? Well, I don't know, maybe here's a theory. Rolling around in the grass with her gentleman suitor. The narrator of our story, of course. Now, while the original song was kind of a light-hearted tune about young, unrequited love, I've upped the ante, making it about the devastating loss of a marriage rather than just the loss of a mistress. I stripped away the sad puppy dog energy of the original, turning it into something much darker. It isn't just about the jagged, toxic bitterness of watching a marriage die. It's about the descent of my soul into the bitter, lonely, desolate hell that is life after such tremendous heartbreak, betrayal, and abandonment, and abuse. Anyways, it's a riot. I really enjoy it. I've been singing. I mean, I wrote it a couple months ago, and I sing it every month now, and I'm getting pretty good at it. It's very therapeutic. My other masterpiece, I call it Holocaust Lullaby. You know, in my own journey to understand my own pain, like a lot of people, you know, I've been kind of obsessed with true crime, war history, obviously World War II, and the Holocaust. I mean, World War II is just infinitely fascinating in so many ways. But the Holocaust, I found myself particularly, like, mortified about. And that just, you know, something you want to learn more about it. So I indulged on a mission to learn everything I could about the Holocaust, including the thousands of concentration camps. Like, there's only a couple of really big ones that everybody knows, like Auschwitz, Birkenau, Dachau, Mauthausen, Ravensbrück, Treblinka, Sobibor, Belzec, Buchenwald. Gosh, anyway, so I wrote a song listing all these names of these concentration camps, and I set it to, this is brilliant. I set it to a Handel, George Frederick Handel, who was a Baroque era composer, and he wrote a song called Sarah Bond, and it's in the key of, what the fuck key is that in? Gosh, I forget about that. Boy, I love music theory. Music theory is my favorite fucking thing in the world. I love piano. Like, just the things you can do with this instrument is just quite incredible. So, of course, I gravitate towards, like, songwriting. And, of course, most people wouldn't write a song about the Holocaust, as that's, like, the most unpleasant subject in the world. However, art in all its glories and joys, you know, like, art explores the human experience, both the good, the bad, the sad, the ugly. And so it's more of a memorial to remember the pain. And as I mean, I watch Holocaust documentaries pretty much every day, or, you know, or World War II or whatever. You know, and I just find myself like, how could people survive that and still want to live? Like, yeah, I've been abused and I've had some severe trauma, but not like that. And there are people that survive that, and I just fascinated, and I'm just warms my heart that people, you know, survive. Of course, you know, millions and millions of people didn't. You know, I don't know how I would have acted if I was in a concentration camp. They have a German word for it, but they like, prisoners were in concentration camps surrounded by electrified fences, and when people couldn't handle it anymore, they just jumped on the fence and killed themselves. And the Germans had a special stupid word. God, the Germans were such assholes back then. They called them like, you know, go into heaven or something, like, you know, go jump on the, you know, go kill yourself. And a lot of people did, you know. And so anyways, the point is, if those people can survive, so can I. And I'm in 2026 now, where I have, I mean, the best technology we've ever had. I mean, I have an amazing piano. I have a nice big TV. The other favorite thing I want to talk about, oh my God, the one thing I think I'm more excited about than anything in the entire world, more than the DSM-V, is GTA 6. Gosh, let me just tell you about this real quick. First off, I have played every Grand Theft Auto game since Grand Theft Auto 1. Grand Theft Auto 2, and then there was like a bunch of spin-offs, and then Grand Theft Auto 3, and then, of course, San Andreas, Vice City, then, of course, Grand Theft Auto 4, and then Grand Theft Auto 5. I first played in 2013. Maybe it was 2014. I still had an Xbox 360 at the time. And I think there was already Xbox One out, so it played better on that. But I bought it for Xbox 360, and I played it freaking 13 years ago. Gosh, really good game. Rockstar makes really, really good games. Just, you know, it's funny. Very, very funny. I find the game to be very, very funny. I think my favorite part of it is the satire of the radio stations. So I just picked up a new copy of Grand Theft Auto 5 to get myself excited. Because Grand Theft Auto 6 doesn't come out till freaking November. Good Lord, I hope I'm alive then. But this is like, I can't stress how excited I am. Like, talk about a purpose to live. To be alive November 19th so I can freaking play this goddamn game. It's not just a game though. It's a world simulator. Gosh. Now, I don't know who I'm talking to exactly right now, but if anyone's listening and if you've ever played any of the Grand Theft Auto games, you know what I'm talking about. They're pretty good, but there's, you know, even though they're quite deep, there's a huge lack of depth. Like, all the NPCs just, you know, have, you know, are mindless computers. You can't go in buildings. You know, the cops forget about you after, you know, murdering people and stealing their cars, which is fun to do in the game.